for taking the time to do this. Like it's already really started, to be honest. We're just gonna just chat shop in a few different directions, and I'd love to hear just kind of your insights as to your journey over the last
Mhm.
year and a bit. And I got a few questions lined up, and we can kind of just move in any direction, I suppose. But yeah, like feel free to just take us through, like give us a bit of background for people kind of listening and watching. Like, what do you do? Where are you based? And what brought you in, I suppose.
Okay, yeah. So my name's Tom. I run an agency that specializes in web design and development. Um, Based currently in a little island called Jersey, so just between England and France. And yeah, so I've been a designer for about 15 years or so, but I spent most of my time in agencies. So kind of very different mindset to going out and doing your own thing, I suppose. I think most of people's careers, when you do that, you're focused on the task at hand, the kind of hourly rate model. How long do you think something's going to take? This is what we're going to charge an hour. This is basically the time you get to do the project. So it was kind of when I went out on my own about a year and a half ago to figure out I can't work at an hourly rate model. I don't think it's that beneficial, especially if you've got 10, 15 years of experience under your belt. You actually get quite quick at doing things. You do the same thing again and again and again and again. Um, and I sort of got to the realization that this is penalizing me, right? If I'm charging $100 an hour, $120 an hour, and I can do something in 3 or 4 hours, that's all arguably more valuable than me doing it in 8, 10, 12, 15 hours for the client, right? So I'll be charging less, but actually providing more value to the client because I'm getting their products out faster and quicker. So it was kind of that mindset shift of going, how can I communicate that level of value in a way that's useful to me and to the client. So it was kind of that step back where I need to move away from an hourly thing. It's not the way to grow. If I'm trying to bring on contractors and do more stuff with more output, the hourly model can only go so far, right? There's only so many dollars in that you can divide out to actually grow. Um, so that was sort of the generator to going, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to do this. There's got to be a better way to scale and grow.
Mm, got it. So like, what do you feel like? What is the game of design business for you then? What do you feel like are the most important things to be continually working on to move in the right
Um,
direction?
it's almost taken a step back and really understanding your client, right? I spent most of my career pitching to my clients as if they were designers. I tell them, oh, this is the way that the brand's going to look. This is why we're going to choose this. This is the colors, the way that the website's going to be built. And ultimately, they don't care in the nicest possible way. How you um, kind of communicate has got to be tailored to your audience, right? You've got to say the things that they care about. So no one invests in a brand and a website because they want a brand and a website. They want to be seen, by better clients. They want to have better positioning in the market. They want to communicate what they do better. That's why they'll invest in these service lines, not I want a new logo for the sake of it. So for me, it was kind of again taking that step back and saying, imagine I'm speaking in kind of entrepreneurial terms now rather than design focused terms. This logo will do this for your business, or this website will do this for your business, rather than here's a lovely logo that's really pretty and will look great.
Got it. Do you feel like, and that's kind of the way that it's probably the best way to explain it is if people can shift their identity from a designer to an entrepreneur who has design skills, just happens to have a design skill set, that's a way
Yeah.
better. That sounds like where you're at. That sounds like how you're operating. But have you found that shift has also changed what you're offering? Do you feel like there's been movement in that as well?
Yeah, definitely. So I used to go out to clients and primarily offer them websites, essentially. I can design and build your website. So you kind of don't necessarily have that sort of developer handoff, which is sometimes a bit of a point of friction. And I thought that was what clients cared about. And actually, through the process of building my own business, realized the really valuable thing is I've got 15 years of retained knowledge. I know a really good way of digesting your business into something that sells within about 9 seconds, right? Because that is how long people spend on the website. So now actually I went out to the market and changed from here's your website to I'll take a look at your business. I'll understand who you're targeting. And crucially, how can we break down what you sell or what you offer in 1 to 2 sentences so people immediately know what you do when they land on a website. And also then here's your website. So it's that kind of positioning fix in a way that just immediately sells is really valuable. I deal with so many clients that when I ask them what they do, they'll just list out a heap of services. You know, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. And from a client point of view, if you land on a website and you're greeted with 40 lists of services, it's actually quite overwhelming. You don't know who are you targeting, what's the problem you're solving, and are you the guys for me? So there's so much power and value in saying, this is what we do in 1 sentence, right? You go out to market, you do one thing really, really well, and you say that, your website's immediately going to be more impactful. It's going to drive the kind of clients that you want to take the next step rather than being so overwhelming. They'll go, oh, I'm going to look somewhere else.
Got it. So like, it sounds like you're kind of also like encroaching into the area of helping them become clearer and less muddled themselves. Like what kind of shifts have you made from like the way that you communicate who you are online? Like what's the pivot between before you started with us and where it is now in regards to like bios and website headlines? Like is there much of a shift, or has most of the growth been just on the back end, or like yeah, like, or is there even a difference in like when somebody says, so Tom, what do you do? Like is that answer different today to
Yeah,
maybe
I
a
think
year
it
ago?
is, to be honest. Yeah, as I said, like I used to lead with the output. So all of my stuff was, I do websites. This is the website for you, blah, blah, blah. And that's not necessarily what my clients now are looking for. Obviously, they want the output of a website, but the value I think is in this repositioning, this kind of condensing of a business into something that is easily understood on your website. So, you know, most of my website now has taken that shift. It is more around the the strategy and the output of your business in terms of a better website that's more I guess tailored rather than the website itself as a whole. Here's the website, here's what you're going to get. Now it's more of the process, and it's definitely entrepreneurial led. So the language, the tone of voice, all of the copy is more business related and results driven. You know, we've done this for this kind of client, and we've received this kind of return on investment. And I think that's really helped because you're kind of taking away some of the risk from a client, right? It's an investment from them, and to say I'm a designer and I build websites is a little bit of a stab in the dark. We can take a chance with you. We like what you've done, but it's still that level of unknown. Whereas actually, if you go out and go, this is what I do for businesses, we've done this before and we've achieved this result. If you're interested and you're in the same problem, get in touch. And I think it's that mindset shift is really, really powerful because so many businesses don't lean on the kind of emotional states and the drivers that their customers are thinking, right? And actually, you saying, do you want a website or a brand versus are you in this position? Are you struggling with this? Is this what your business is struggling with right now? Is so much more powerful because clients who are in that situation going, yeah, actually, my business is struggling with this. We are trying to, struggling to get new leads, or we're not really happy with how we go out to market. That is such a strong motivator for people to go, I need to get in touch now. This is the time to get in touch. I'm sick of, not making the most out of my business as I potentially could do.
Got it. Yeah, you're very clear with like the way that you're explaining this, which tells me that like obviously your sales process is doing pretty well because you kind of just know what your purpose is, and you're very clearly able to explain the consequence of hey, that this is what happens if we don't address this, I suppose. What so like obviously, you know, it's you've hit good like months in revenue, but the cool thing is like there's consistency with it. So take us through what contributes to the consistency, and like to what degree do you have confidence that next month is going to be roughly the same or improve, and the month after and the month after? What are the levers that allow you
So,
to kind of feel good about it?
a couple of things really. One is that, I've got systems in place now where I just know what's coming around the corner, right? It's quite easy to track who am I speaking to, are they on call, what the plan is, um, and live by the system, I suppose. My calendar is very systematized, but that really helps, right? So I know this is what's coming in, this is what's happening. I know kind of everything from the business. And I think that's a really important part that lots of people miss, where these these kind of controls, these standardized things in form are so important to get right, because without those foundations, it's really hard to grow, and it's really hard to have some level of consistency. And it also helps that the nature of doing a website, to do it properly, it does take a little bit of time. So it's not just here's 3 weeks worth of work. That's not the target market that I'm going for. It is normally a 6 month project where we'll understand your business, we'll do it properly, and we'll build a site and a brand for you. And that takes time. So there is some kind of nice level of retained revenue where actually you can split these projects over 6, 12 months. So you've got money retained coming in, which means you can grow the business, you can go to advertising, you can bring people on, because you've got that money coming in.
Nice. Yeah, that's the benefit of breaking payments up and staggering them over time. Is immediately it sucks because you're not collecting cash, but you're also more motivated to deliver the project as it's going. And if you stack them on top of each other, you got recurring revenue, don't you?
Totally.
What so like how are you with like understanding like your numbers in your sales process? So are you like how many of like your calls, like how many of your leads turn into calls? How many of your calls turn into sales? Do you have like rough numbers around?
It's a good amount. I'd say probably half of my leads that I actually have that real conversation with come into a call. Um, I think the biggest mind I can't even say it. The biggest shift
Shit.
really is that's the guy is actually leading with being personal first, right? You don't want to go out and be like, "Here's my service," because I think what I've learned in quite a blunt way is that people buy from people, and you can be the world's best designer, but unless you appear human or have that human connection, it's a lot bigger of a hurdle to jump in and go, yeah, let's hop on a call. Whereas actually, as soon as you get to speak to people and know people, and I like having the chat anyway, it's just that conversation of like, tell me about your business. I'm really interested to hear what you guys do because it's always interesting. And it gets the guy on the other end of the call to be just so much more receptive to your offer, what's going to happen, rather than just here's my list of services, buy from me. It's almost immediately a barrier, and I think especially on social media, everyone just immediately shuts off now because they're just so bombarded with sale, sale, sale.
Offers.
So as soon as yeah, exactly. So as soon as you sort of break through and go, here's I'm not going to offer to you. I just want to hear a bit about your business. I'm interested. It's
Got it.
immediately
No,
different to what they see.
so take us through your like cold lead marketing philosophy. Is it basically just, hey, just rock up and just be myself and just have a yarn, and then like you understand the sales process, so you eventually weave it in, but your first
Totally.
what you feel like your first goal is to just build some rapport and have a bit of fun, or
100%. Yeah, exactly. If someone is wanting a brand on a website and they see what I do, they'll reach out and go, "Yeah, I've seen this, I want it." But actually, most people, I find it so much kind of more impactful just to be like, oh, "I've noticed your business around. I've seen your website. I really like what you're offering. Can you tell me what it is?" And people are so much more willing to talk about themselves, right, and explain what they do rather than being receptive to here's an offer. So yeah, most of my outreach is just basically building conversations. I think the nature of design is that people do take a bit of time to pull the trigger, I suppose. So I've
Yeah.
had clients that have reached up, a year later and been like, I've been following you for a year and now it's time for us to do something. But you have to sow those seeds first and be human, be present, and then those things will come back to to reap later on.
What what would you say your split is between like winning working on winning work, like from a marketing, content, sales standpoint and delivering work from like a percentage standpoint, just to give us an idea?
It's probably it's probably about half my time is now business, development, business leads, running the business, and half output, which was wildly different to what I expected. I expected, most of my time to be on doing the actual designing, and then
Mm.
5% of my time would be here's some marketing. Um, but it's shifting more into just running the business, I suppose.
Yep.
Which is good. Like it's the right thing to do. It means you get to grow, you have more clarity in what you're doing, and even just refining your offer, your outreach. Right, it's a really easy thing to. This is what I do, and I stick with it for the next 10 years. But actually, the market changes, so I think it's always really valuable to every 3 months or so, just look back at what you're offering to your clients and go, is this still relevant? Can I tweak this? Can I improve this? Can I make this better or more appealing?
Mm.
And without that kind of inward knowledge, it's really hard to grow. So I do think having that kind of step back and go, would I buy from me? Essentially, almost take yourself out of the situation.
Yep.
If the answer is no for too many months, then you need to potentially rework what you do.
Yeah, totally. We're gonna have a long, hard look at ourselves. Um,
Yeah.
what um, what would you say has been the biggest aha moment that you've had going through the program?
It would be, I think, flipping the the language, the way that I go out to market, and the sales process from design led to business led. I think as soon as that kind of penny drops, you're like, why was I doing this before? It makes so much sense. But as I said, most of my pitching career or piecing career was through an agency. The client had already made that decision to work with, the agency, so to speak. So most of your kind of pitching or presentation skills are running them through a design process from start to finish.
Mm.
Whereas when you go out on your own, there's this whole big step that you just miss, which is come choose me, come work with me. So now when I meet my clients and I chat to them on a call, maybe 5% of the call is on the design. The rest
Mm.
of it is on the results. Here's what we can do. Here's what has happened with other clients in a similar situation. Does this sound like the situation that you're in right now? And it's more, I guess, psychological and business led in terms of language and output rather than here's a lovely brand and, website that we're going to design for you. Ultimately, the client doesn't care what you do. They don't care about the journey. They care about the destination. So I think for me, the biggest sort of takeaway was understanding that and just selling the destination, right? Skip all the journey. No one cares. They just want to know what you can do for them. And are you trustworthy? Do you have testimonials backing up? And do you have results that you can show us? And as soon as you get that, you're so much more powerful.
Got it. So, like, for you to mention that, it sounds like there's a lot of emphasis on testimonials and results as well. So, like, take us through, take us through what you think you're doing in terms of testimonials and results that most people aren't.
So it's process, right? I think lots of people that I deal with, when I deal with my clients and I say, testimonials are going to sell your business more than anything that we do together. What testimonials do you have? And they go, oh no, we don't have any. Or I know we've got some, but I don't have anything in place. You're kind of throwing away your biggest marketing friend, right? I can tell everyone I'm amazing, but as soon as they hear it from somebody else, it is immediately more powerful.
Mm.
So I've got processes in place where, when projects are finished, I send emails out or pick up the phone and say, love working with you guys. We had loads of fun, love the output. Do you mind leaving me a testimonial? It really helps. And just that process of, again, being human, being like a real person, clients just go, yeah, of course, no worries. Why wouldn't I? And then as soon as you've got that, you've just got a great marketing asset for however long you need it. And the better they are, the better it helps you. So it's in everyone's best interest to get as many of them as possible, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. That's the, I was saying this morning, but like, I see my businesses as machines that their pure purpose is to produce testimonials, and then somehow money will follow that because, yeah, like testimonials, as you're probably finding, the can I trust this guy? Can he actually deliver what he promises? Those objections are non existent by the time you get to the sales call, which means that you can have a real conversation and somebody's opened up and they're already half committed. And it becomes more about compatibility than who the hell are you? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I genuinely reckon I could turn businesses around with just a good positioning statement and 100 testimonials. Nothing
Yeah.
else on the website, no services, nothing. Just this is what you are and this is how good I am. People are going to,
Arguably,
yeah, cool.
there is nothing else.
No,
Arguably, like
no.
your websites are really just a a, a carcass to hold the positioning statement and the
Yeah.
testimonial. That's a good way to think
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
Um, so if you were to look back at the version of you 5 years ago, what what's the best advice that you could give yourself around everything that you've acquired that would allow you to 5 years ago speed up as quick as you can and maybe spin the tires less?
Well, it would be a couple of things really. One is understand my clients more, right? Understand the emotional drivers that they care about more than here's the design. And I do think that designers, we are kind of ingrained to notice details and care about things so much more than clients do. The amount of times I go to a restaurant and I look at the typeface and go, "Oh, that's rubbish," but no one else cares. So it's focusing on the macro picture, and also read more. Right, reading and learning is the biggest hack I think you can get. Right, you're basically injecting retain knowledge from 20, 30, 40 years worth of people, and you can do it in weeks. So read all the time, learn the basics of business fundamentals, and basically just ingest knowledge from people that you want to emulate, right? Because they're obviously doing something that works. If you want to be like that and you want to grow the business to a size that is comparable, figure out what they're doing, right? You've got to do it. There's not a trick. They're not scamming you. It's just these are processes in place that work. You should understand how they do it and emulate that.
Yeah,
And I think, yeah, business first, design second is probably the biggest kind of flip, I suppose.
dude. Um, yeah, it's very interesting to hear how clear you are with and how much confidence you have in the structures that you've put in, especially the mental ones as well. And I can just see how that kind of clarity and confidence feeds through to people feeling good about working with you. Like it really is like people buy us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if we're clear on what we're doing, we're also clear on what we're not doing, and people become really clear on how we can help. So yeah, mate, thanks for taking the time. That was really insightful, and congrats on all of the progress. But yeah, we expect to double up this year. Uh,
That's the plan.
um,